Imagine driving alone down the desolate stretches of Route 66 late at night. The wind howls through the cracked windows, and the headlights illuminate nothing but miles of empty road. You think you're the only one awake in the world. But then, a figure appears, walking along the side of the highway. A young woman in a flowing white dress, drenched in moonlight, looks lost, standing motionless, her gaze fixed on the road ahead. This is the story of countless drivers on America's most famous highway who claim to have encountered the vanishing hitchhiker, a ghostly woman whose presence is as chilling as it is real. Tonight, we dive into the most disturbing accounts, inspired by eyewitness reports and police records, and explore a phenomenon that has terrified travelers for decades. Today's story is about Michael, a truck driver from Oklahoma, who never expected a routine night drive on Route 66 to turn into a living nightmare. Michael was hauling goods across the empty desert highway. The clock struck midnight, and the neon glow of abandoned motels flickered in the distance. As he rounded a bend, he saw her, standing on the shoulder, pale under the moonlight. At first, he thought she might need help, perhaps a stranded motorist or a lost tourist. But something about her felt off. Her long hair seemed to float unnaturally, and her dress glimmered in a way no ordinary fabric should. He slowed the truck and rolled down the window. "Do you need a ride?" he called. The girl turned, her eyes deep, sorrowful, yet eerily vacant. She nodded, and without hesitation, Michael unlocked the passenger door. She stepped in silently. The interior of the truck was cold, an icy draft wrapping around him. "I need to get to the next town," she whispered, her voice soft, almost inaudible. Michael nodded, gripping the steering wheel tighter. But the road ahead began to feel wrong, twisting and stretching in ways the highway never should. The rearview mirror caught something that made his blood run cold. Her reflection, yes, but pale, ghostly, with hollow eyes staring directly into his soul. Before he could react, she was gone. The back seat was empty. Michael slammed the brakes, skidding to a halt. The engine sputtered. The night air was still, unnervingly silent, as if the world itself had paused. He checked every angle, opened the doors, but she had vanished into thin air. His heart raced, and he could still feel the chill of her presence in the passenger seat. The next morning, Michael shared his story with local law enforcement. He described the woman in meticulous detail. White dress, long dark hair, pale skin, and those empty, haunting eyes. Officers were skeptical at first, chalking it up to fatigue or hallucination. But a few weeks later, another driver reported the exact same scenario, miles down the same highway. These were not isolated incidents. Over decades, Route 66 became notorious for this phenomenon. Drivers, truckers, and travelers consistently reported picking up a young woman in white, only for her to vanish without a trace. Police investigations sometimes found a chilling twist. Some victims later discovered that the girl had died tragically years before on the very stretch of road where she appeared. Car accidents, drownings, or foul play had claimed her life. And yet, she wandered the highway, searching for a ride home she would never reach. Sarah Thompson, a journalist from Arizona, documented several of these encounters. In her interviews, she described one chilling account. A man driving alone had picked up the girl, only for her hand to slip through his fingers as he tried to hold it. His car radio flickered, and he heard faint whispers, pleas for help, cries of despair, and then silence. When he looked back, the girl was gone, and his car clock read a time that didn't match reality. Some researchers theorize that the vanishing hitchhiker is a residual haunting, replaying the traumatic moments of her death, repeating them endlessly on the highway. Others suggest a darker force at play, an entity that lures travelers into the supernatural, feeding on fear and desperation. Michael wasn't the only one to experience lingering effects. Drivers often report feeling watched long after the encounter, sensing cold spots in their vehicles, or hearing footsteps echoing in empty rooms once they arrive at their destinations. Some even swear they saw her silhouette on the side of the highway when they returned months later, waiting silently in the distance, beckoning them back. One of the most disturbing cases occurred in New Mexico, where a local family was driving along Route 66 with their teenage daughter. As they approached a stretch notorious for sightings, a girl in white appeared, motionless on the shoulder. The daughter insisted on stopping, claiming she recognized her. When they opened the car door, the girl vanished into a gust of wind, leaving behind only wet footprints that led into the desert and disappeared completely. The family reported lingering nightmares for months, the girl's hollow gaze haunting their dreams. These accounts are why Route 66 has earned its reputation as one of America's most haunted highways. Travelers now warn newcomers, never pick up a hitchhiker in white, especially after dark. The phenomenon isn't just a story, it's a cautionary tale passed down through decades from one witness to another, each retelling more chilling than the last. Historians dug into the archives and discovered multiple fatalities along the route. Many victims were young women, often dressed in white at the time of their death. Some speculate that the vanishing hitchhiker is drawn to drivers who resemble someone from her past, someone capable of offering help she never received in life. Michael, after his encounter, avoided Route 66 for years. The memory of her hollow eyes and ghostly smile remained burned into his mind. Even during daylight, he felt her presence hovering near the stretches of road where she had appeared. Friends who joked about the story would see him pale, nervously glancing into the shadows as if expecting the backseat to open again. To this day, the legend continues. Ghost hunters have attempted to document sightings with infrared cameras, EMF detectors, and night vision equipment. Some claim faint recordings of a female voice calling for help, while others capture unexplainable cold spots and fleeting shadows darting across the roadside. Whether you believe it is a spirit trapped in time, a residual haunting, or something far darker, the vanishing hitchhiker remains a terrifying testament to the unknown. Every driver along Route 66 is now faced with the same question. If you saw a young woman in white, would you stop or would you risk ignoring her? For Michael, that night remains one of the most horrifying experiences of his life. He often recounts the story to warn others, hoping no one else encounters the restless soul. Yet in the small towns dotting Route 66, local legends insist she still wanders the lonely stretches, appearing at midnight, silently seeking a ride that will never end. The road stretches endlessly into the horizon, empty, silent, but maybe not entirely. For those traveling alone, keep your eyes on the shoulder, keep your hands on the wheel. And if a young woman in white appears, remember, she might not be looking for help, she might be looking for you. Would you dare drive the lonely stretches of Route 66 at night, knowing what awaits? Follow for more spine-chilling real-life horror stories.